Good morning and welcome to this edition of Monday Morning Mobility. My name is Jeff Blanchard and I'm coming to speak to you today and give you some ideas to help you decrease pain, help you hopefully avoid something that might bring on pain, and help you live a more healthy and life that's full of movement. So today's topic is something called text neck. So when I say text neck, many of you probably haven't heard about what this is. So you can think, okay, texting, a lot of people text, and then you can imagine that this has something to do with pain because we're here talking about oftentimes things that create pain. So this is actually a new diagnosis out there because most of the population today spends a lot of time texting on their phones. So I wanted to give you some thoughts and some examples of why this is a problem and what you can do to minimize the chance that you're going to have a problem called text neck. So we'll move on to an example. So this is a medicine ball. This is a 4-kilogram medicine ball. This weighs maybe a little bit more than most people's heads. Your head weighs about 9 to 10% of your body weight. And so if you want to know how much your head weighs, just do the math. So again, so this roughly weighs about as much as your head. Now I could hold this ball close to me, and I could probably hold it close to me for a nice long time, maybe 30 minutes. Possibly I just gradually start to get tired because I'm holding this heavy weight in front of my body. But what would happen if I were to take this ball and hold it out here in front of me? Well, I can guarantee you I'm not going to be able to hold this ball out here for 30 minutes. 10 minutes probably wouldn't work. 5 minutes I'd be struggling to hold it out here for 5 minutes. So why is it so much harder to hold something away from your body than it is to hold something close to your body? Well, the answer is through physics. We understand through the laws of physics that the closer a weight is to your center of mass, the less weight it is on your body. Let's say if I were to set this right on top of my head, that in that position it would weigh the least amount. So in some cultures where maybe they don't have running water, what do they do to gather water? They go down, they fill their bucket with water, and then they put it on their head and they walk all the way back to where they live. Why? Because that's the easiest place to carry something as heavy as water. So this pertains to what we're talking about, text neck. Okay, so here's my cell phone. Now, when it comes to texting, if you're standing, oftentimes people are going to be texting like this. How often have you seen people in the grocery store or in wherever you are, or walking down the street, and they're basically doing this walking down the street? So they have their phone right in front of their body and their head is hanging all the way in this position, and they're doing this thing here while they're texting or surfing the internet or social media or whatever they might be doing. So what's wrong with this picture? Well, we've talked about posture before, and we've talked about the position of the head. So your head, again, think about the weight of your head and think about what I did with the medicine ball. The farther away from your center of mass, the more weight it is. So just the act of bringing your head from this position into this position, you have in essence doubled the weight of your head. Okay, so that weight is going through the back, these muscles here in the back of your neck, in between the shoulder blades. So with text neck, people come in complaining of pain back and through here, back of the neck and back in the shoulder blades. That pain is those muscles have become exhausted. They have become damaged over time because they were being used in a way to hold your head up for too long of a time. So I'm going to give you some ideas as far as how you might be able to still text, but do so in a better way that's going to not give you text neck. So let's say I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start texting. I could, if I'm standing, I can bring my phone up into this position and then I can go into here. So all it is I'm just holding this. This is a fairly lightweight device. Guaranteed this weighs less than your head. And so if you bring it up in front of you and you're in this position, much better position for your neck. It's going to decrease your pain in the back of your neck and your head. Now let's say you're sitting. So I've got my chair here. Oftentimes people are going to be sitting and texting. So you don't want to be in this position here. Now again, look at my back. My back is in this C-curve position. A lot of stress is going to those muscles in the back of my neck and back. So the best thing I could do is I could sit back, bring the phone into your field of view, and then you could work in this position and text or whatever it is you're going to do on your phone. This would apply also to other items that you would use, computers. You know, that's why we want a computer monitor to be right here and the keyboard to be here, as we talked about in a previous episode. So that position keeps your head in this position here, it keeps it back so your eyes are vertical, so you're not dropping your head into this position, which is going to create that repetitive stress on the back of your neck and create text neck. Okay, so let me share one or two things that you can do to help lessen the stress on the back of your neck. Let's say you caught yourself doing this position and you've been here for 5 minutes and you're starting to get that little naggy pain in the back of your neck. So what can you do if this starts coming on? Well, first of all, stop doing what you were doing to create the problem. So the next thing is you want to stand up tall. What you could do is you could stand up against a wall and get into this position and just kind of hold this position and get nice and tall against the wall using those muscles back behind your back and get your shoulder blades back. So that's one thing that you could do. Another thing that you could do is you could lie on your back and do a little bit of a stretch where you take your arms out to the sides. So let's say I'm lying down on the floor and I could take my arms out to the sides and stretch here, or I could stretch here, or I could stretch here and really open up my chest and get things to stretch. The last thing you might do, let's say especially if you're sitting in a chair, is you can do a simple hands in the head, lean back, stretch, and then just take yourself in the opposite direction. And depending on where your chair hits you in your back, you can slide down a little bit and hit some different spots in your back so you can stretch out a couple of different zones in your back. And you'll probably find that this will help decrease your pain that you're having in the back of your neck and between the shoulder blades. So I'd like to thank you again for joining me for this episode of Monday Morning Mobility. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with somebody out there. And until next time, remember, if you don't move it, you'll lose it.